Building a great physique through accomplishing significant muscle growth and fat loss is a dream for many people. For many people, however, the prospect of following through with the process of actually accomplishing a great physique might seem like a joyless, painful chore. It doesn't have to be that way, though. It's more than possible to find some joy from the process, some satisfaction from it, and some meaning from it. That said, the process of building muscle and losing fat to get leaner, stronger, and more muscular is a challenge. There's no avoiding that. That challenge is actually a big part of what I think makes the whole process more meaningful. But that's not what this video is about. Aside from the inevitable challenge of it all, there are several aspects of lifting weights and dieting that can needlessly take away joy from the process of it all. In this video, while showing you footage from my latest full body gym workout, I'm going to zoom in on one soul-sucking mistake in particular that has the potential to take away a ton of joy from the process of building muscle and losing fat from you. And the easy strategy you can implement instead to avoid the mistake and instead open yourself up to actually enjoying the process. The mistake I'm about to share with you is one that I've definitely fallen into myself. And the strategy that I'm about to share is one that's really helped me to get out of it. So this is all coming from a place of personal experience. I should point out that this mistake is one that most profoundly affects a certain personality type in particular. And for many personality types, it might not actually be a problem at all. So just a heads up on that. Before we get started, if you find that this video is helpful, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Okay, let's dive in. If you're anything like me, when you work hard at something, you want to see results. You want to see the fruits of the time, energy, and effort that you put into whatever it is that you're working towards. That's definitely been the case with me when it's come to building muscle and losing fat. From all of the countless accumulated hours at the gym and the energy I've put into getting stronger and improving my lifting performance, and the disciplined phases of dieting in a caloric deficit that have involved sometimes very long periods of not so fun dietary restriction. Of course, I've wanted to see results. When it comes to both building muscle and losing fat, the process takes time. Results come relatively slowly, even though it's easy to want them to come in like yesterday. Nowadays, this is a concept that I understand fully, though even so, I would be dishonest if I didn't tell you that I still find it tough to wrestle with at times. See, this segues me into the mistake that has the potential to needlessly take away joy from the process of building muscle and losing fat. It's to hyper-fixate on seeing fast, short-term results. Yes, getting results is absolutely why we do the whole lifting weights and dieting thing, and is something we ought to track. The mistake I'm alluding to largely revolves around the hyper-fixating on short-term results part. I'll explain. As a competitive natural bodybuilder, I undergo varying phases that focus on either muscle growth or fat loss. In between competition seasons, I spend the majority of my time in a caloric surplus with the intention of focusing on muscle growth rather than fat loss. And for the majority of the time leading into a competition season or during a prep, I spend most of my time in a deficit to lose fat to the point of being ready for the stage. Regardless of the phase I'm in, progress takes time, lots of it. And like I mentioned in the past, there have been times where I've really wrestled with that. There's one time in particular that I consider to be the apex of that, back in my 2021 contest prep. My goal for that season was to get absolutely shredded for the stage. I wanted to be peeled. I wanted clear glute striations, and I wanted to win. And boy, did I ever fixate on my short-term progress. On top of that, I wanted to see steps of visual progress like literally daily. For about the last 10 weeks of the prep, in a prep that was 26 weeks in its entirety, I took progress photos nearly every day. Every day. I was so fixated on seeing daily results that it was taking time to evaluate my physique daily for changes. And let me tell you, it took away a ton of potential joy from the process. Of course, comparing photos from one day to the next was crazy in retrospect. There was no way I was going to see daily changes the way I wanted, and nor did I really. If I took the photos weekly or bi-weekly, sure, there would have been subtle changes, but taking photos every day, nope. I share this personal experience with you of really, truly hyperfixating on short-term progress with you to let you know that doing so wholeheartedly left me joyless rather than joyful. I just wasn't at all finding what I was looking for. I share my own extreme example with you to hopefully accentuate and put light on the principle of the mistake, to really drive home that doing things like hyper-fixating or focusing on daily weigh-ins, other measurements, or photos like me probably won't lead you down the joyful, fulfilling, satisfying path. I mentioned this earlier, but not everyone will struggle with this mistake, depending on their personality. Some people will struggle with the polar opposite thing, which is to not do enough progress tracking. But for those who have a personality that's more prone to making this kind of mistake, like me, then hopefully what I'm sharing is relatable and resonates a bit with you. The strategy to avoid this mistake is multifaceted. Don't hyperfixate on your short-term daily measurements, and instead set your focus on taking daily action steps, like doing your training sessions and sticking with your planned meals. So basically, set your focus on the process itself. From there, although it might seem counterintuitive, try not to think about your progress. To concisely summarize, think more about the process than your progress. I've done 2 natural bodybuilding preps since my 2021 prep, and I'm currently deep into one as we speak. Something I've found has made the process exponentially more enjoyable and fulfilling for me, particularly in my current prep, is to actually take progress photos as infrequently as possible and to instead focus more on just doing the action steps, so following through with the process. That means staying in the present and focusing on accomplishing one workout at a time and enjoying one planned meal at a time. And after that, I almost try to forget about my progress. See, I know progress is happening, but that it's happening slowly, whether I'm fixating on it or not. So I try to avoid having it take up more mental bandwidth than need be, which saves my mental energy and focus to be spent on what I consider to be more fulfilling parts of the process. Doing the training, eating the planned meals, and enjoying the rest of life outside of fitness. This all being said, I still do track my progress. And if you're trying to lose fat and build muscle, you probably should too. Taking photos and body weight measurements are a sure way of collecting objective data to make sure that you are, in fact, making progress. The key in doing so, from what I've learned, is to not focus on it more than you have to. For as much of my current prep as I've been able to get away with, I've been taking my progress photos as infrequently as possible, and instead just focusing on following through with the process. That's been doing wonders for me. But now, being super deep into it and having to practice posing regularly, I am finding myself actually having to take posing and conditioning progress videos multiple times throughout the week, many more than in the past leading up to this point. The key with that is to not expect or focus on daily physique changes the way I did back in my 2021 prep. I take the photo or video, check the posing, and then move on with the rest of my day. The same thing holds true with regular body weight measurements, which I'm actually a fan of doing daily at any point of any kind of a fat loss phase, whether that be a fat loss phase in prep or just a cut to get ready for the beach in the summer. You stand on the scale, grab the measurement, try not to think much of it, and then move on with the day. The measurements are important for seeing long-term progress trends, yes, but as long as you're following through with and focusing more on the process itself, then there's no real need to hyper-fixate on anything daily. Significant and profound changes will happen, but over many weeks and months rather than day to day. So why hyper-focus on daily measurements? So the takeaway message I'm aiming to share with you is this. Hyper-fixating on daily short-term results is likely not the path to finding joy from the process of building muscle and losing fat. Instead, what I've learned is that the ideal strategy is to focus more on the process itself and almost forget about your progress. Having some peace of mind in knowing that you are in fact getting results, they're just happening relatively slowly in the background. And for the measurements that you do take regularly, like your body weight measurements, for example, try not to read into them too deeply on the daily. Take them, forget about them, and then move on with your day. Again, this mistake and counter strategy to it isn't for everyone. In fact, some people with differing personality types might actually struggle with the polar opposite kind of a problem, like where they don't pay close enough attention to their progress or their results. But for those of you who do truly struggle with this in particular, I hope it all helps. At this point, I'd love to know your feedback. Let me know your thoughts and insights in the comment section below. Before this video comes to a close, I want to quickly let you know about the work that I do. When I'm not making YouTube videos or Instagram content, I work full-time as an online physique coach, where I help my clients to accomplish their muscle growth and fat loss goals by optimizing their approach to strength training and nutrition. And I coach them through the process. I've been doing this work for over 7 years and love helping my clients to not only transform their bodies, but ultimately their lives. If you've been considering getting some help with accomplishing your own physique goals, feel free to hit the link in the description below, where you can learn a little bit more about the work that I do and how it can help you. You can even use that link to schedule a free video consultation with me. If you have any questions about my coaching or how I can help you, just email me at sam@jadeathletics.ca. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.